I don't know. Do you think the blue Mio mixes well with the other Mios? Taste my Mio.
I mixed it with the normal lemonade.
I mixed it with black cherry. Blue and black cherry. It's not great. Not the greatest. Rather, it was just all blue or just all black cherry. We call that a bruise. Perpetually second. Dude, you were like 20 seconds today. Like second is something. Second at least gets a participation award. Yeah, the Paul from yesterday is dead. I'm the new Paul. And tomorrow I'll be the new Paul still. What's happening? I don't know. Sitting outside. Waking myself up. Do you have any plans to flee the country if civil war breaks out or if Trump is declared dictator? I don't think either one of those things is going to happen. And even if it did, I don't know how you make plans to flee a country. I guess I don't have that kind of, I've seen it done in the movies. Like I've seen people get like fake passports and, fake identities and travel through customs and blah, 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 and yada, 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 and get to these different countries and shit. I don't know how to do that. I know spy. But I will tell you, like, I don't know how feasible it is really in my life, but the idea of moving to a different country is pretty appealing to me overall. Maybe not in the short term, but in the medium to long term in my life. Not being in America sounds pretty fucking good. Just generate money from the aether and move countries. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when it comes to certain countries, money is not even really the barrier for me. Like, a lot of the barriers for some of the countries that I would like to lose or like to move to, are like pandemic barriers or family distance barriers or whatever the fuck. Paul, I feel like when you talk about politics and your doomer stuff, you seem like Corey Taylor in the song Pulse of the Maggots and All Hope Is Gone. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take comparison to Slipknot. Oh man, that tastes good.
What?
This lemon haze. Tastes like a lemon cookie. How could it even taste like a lemon cookie? How dare it? I'd like to think that just being in a better run country would solve my grievances with existence, but it probably wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not looking to move to solve my grievances with human existence. I'm looking to move to live in a place that's more my speed. That's all. Like a place that is more reflective of my ideals, and if not, then a place that leaves me the fuck alone and allows me to live the way I want to live. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily looking to solve my problems with it. I suggest Canada or the European countries. Any one of those countries have better governments. I mean, we've talked about this before. Europe has a really high barrier of entry. Most of Europe does. Canada has a super high barrier of entry. Amelia's dad is an actual doctor and was
not deported, but his visa expired.
Right, his visa expired, and they decided not to renew his work visa. You know what I mean? And he's a fucking doctor and went to school for med school and shit. I have if you put together all 4 of the times that I went back to college, I probably have 2 semesters of college, maybe a semester and a half, 2 semesters of completed credits in college. No, you know what I mean? Like the barrier of entry to a lot of these countries is above what they, and on top of that, like they look at you and what you're going to be bringing to the country, right? When you want to immigrate from, let's say, the United States to Sweden or something, they take a look at your skills. Are you an engineer? Are you a doctor? Are you fluent in Swedish and English? Or are you blah 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 blah? All these things play a role, and they're all things that I can't meet the bar for. Like Sweden probably does not want a loud-mouthed critic of the government.
Unless you're a millionaire or something. Which
Now, right, if I was a billionaire or something, then the barrier to entry would be smoothed over by the fact that I'm bringing all my fucking money to their country. But just making a normal fucking living like I do, trying to move to the country, and when they look into what I do and see that I'm just some kind of fucking internet loudmouth entertainer guy, they're not going to take me. So Europe's pretty much off the table. South America is really where it's at for me, particularly Uruguay or Uruguay, but we've talked about that enough. Sweden has no-go zones now. Yeah, I've heard this. Are no-go zones just like bad neighborhoods? Is that what they call like bad neighborhoods or crime-ridden neighborhoods? Hey, Paul, I enjoy your content. I have for the better part of 5 years. Also, when there's that rap album coming out, I'd stand a Paul the Ball album. I've been working on rap songs with Marshall Manson for like 3 months now. We're building up a repertoire.
New Orleans is kind of a no-go zone. Like, you ain't expecting those cops anytime soon in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's just like, I hear this all the time, like, oh, Sweden has literal no-go zones. And I was like, so does America. Like, there are places in America, and especially in the larger cities in America, where you probably don't want to be fucking waltzing around by yourself. Ever lived in the hood? I've never lived in the deep-ass fucking, like, hood that people think of when they watch movies and shit. But I lived in a really economically depressed neighborhood that had a lot of drug and gang activity in it for about 8 years. I owned a condo in a neighborhood like that. And a lot of people thought that the area that I lived in was pretty bad, but it was far from a no-go zone. Yeah, condo, Paul, exactly. But I wouldn't even begin to call it a no-go zone. I still do. There was a gunfire last 2 nights. I think I live near a meth dealer. They have a tiny trailer and everything. Hey, there you go. I doubt that since the government you're critical of is also a government that Sweden is critical of a lot of the time. What? No. But see, I wouldn't be an American anymore. You don't understand. Like I'm talking about immigrating to Sweden. So what do I do here in America? I agitate against the government. What am I going to do in Sweden? I'm going to agitate against the government. And they'd be right to make that assumption as well. The real no-go zones are the white supremacist towns like Vidor, Texas. Yeah. Vidor, capital or the headquarters of the Texas Ku Klux Klan, Vidor, Texas. I guess that's a no-go zone if your skin tone is a certain shade. If I were to walk up in there, I'd probably be okay. You have to pay thousands of dollars to renounce American citizenship, or you still have to pay federal income taxes. Yeah, I know. I've looked into the process, and I'm aware. Yeah. You also think InfoWars is legitimate, Cynic? Oh God, Cynic is doing his fucking thing again. Great. Don't see why you would. Countries like Sweden have a lot of things. Have a lot of the things you keep pushing on your streams. They don't have enough. I don't think a government should ever be allowed to get comfortable or complacent. Ever. Thank you, baby. DFF doing inauguration day coverage for patrons, or is it for all to consume? I have no idea. I honestly don't.
They haven't even announced when exactly Biden's gonna be doing the thing.
Like, they've been very cagey about when exactly the shit is going to go down because they've had so many credible threats of violence and shit. Like, I don't even know. I don't know how or when or if we're going to cover it tomorrow at all. I guess we shall have to see. I'll set you up, Paul. I'll tell our government that you're my long-lost brother or something, and therefore entitled to citizenship. Oh, that'll work, Mendacious C. Yeah, I'm sure they won't look into that. You'd be like, "Oh, mate, this is my fucking long-lost brother." I'll be like, "Yeah, hey, it's me, Mendacious P. here to become a fucking Kiwi." Saw videos on the internet showing the Trump supporters are ramping up their protests, but how legit and how far will they go? I don't know. I mean, like I said, dude, all 50 states, all 50 like mainland states or main American states are on alert with their National Guard and local police forces and shit in the large cities for major violent protests. So, you know, tomorrow may be like the last gasp of Trumpism, the last little like show of resistance. Now, I think a lot of the people that might have showed up to do these types of things were probably convinced not to by the mass arrests that have been going on for the people that showed up and did this the last time. So
those people were pretty, like, they didn't wear masks at all, and they posted pictures of themselves. So
right.
They might be slightly smarter next time.
I mean, we'll just have to see, man. Ireland has lower bars of entry for those with Irish heritage. Well, I definitely have that.
But you've been struggling to pin it down where.
Yeah. I mean, I like my genetics don't lie. I had relatively recent ancestors that lived in Ireland, mostly in County Dublin. And I know the name of one of them. My grandpa came from Ireland, and now I'm a citizen. See, I don't have anything that close. My family has been in America for at least 3 generations now. aware. Four, I suppose. Four generations, if I count. I guess if you count the John Bean that came here from Ireland, that's the farthest I've been able to trace my lineage on my maternal side.
I'm sure John Beans are a dozen.
Yeah. Like John Bean was my great 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 grandfather, and he came from Northern Ireland, is what it says on his census. I was able to find a census that that gave his name as John Bean, and that's that. So I looked into the name Bean and its history in Ireland, and there's a possibility, not a probability, I guess, but a possibility that I'm related to the MacBean clan in Scotland.
The Macbeths by proxy.
Right. Macbeans are descendants of the Macbeths, which, as an actor, you don't want to actually be a descendant of the Macbeths, man. You're not even supposed to say that. You're supposed to say the Scottish play. Macbeth is it's a bad omen. Really, Paul, I know the Latin American countries look appealing to you, but they're actually run by authorities that are just as corrupt. I'm not looking to escape corruption, bro. And like, look, dude, I'm a grown-ass man. So thank you for your insight or whatever the fuck. But I'm not looking, there's no place you can go on the fucking planet to escape corruption. I'm looking to escape the United States and its particular brand of corruption. Does that mean you're literally Mr. Bean? No, my last name has never been Bean. It's a maternal name, and so it's pretty impossible now, except maybe Sentinel Island. Yeah, you can't really go there either. Do you have a toothache? No. I named this Cotton Candy in a Rotten Mouth because it's a lyric that I woke up stuck in my head. Be please. Paul, I'm planning on moving to Norway, Sweden in the future. You can come chill in my basement if I ever escape. Best of luck, dude. Best of luck. Is it a musical family? Do the Beans toot? I don't know. I don't know anything about the Beans. Go to Mongolia and become a shaman? Do they have shamans in Mongolia?
So people don't realize that like Europe opens a lot of doors. America don't.
That is not an owl, duck. That is a dove. The very plaintive song of a dove. The hoo hoo hoo. That is a dove. Here, Argentina is fairly easy to move to, and your money goes a long way. Same thing with Uruguay. Same thing with a number of South American countries. You just have, it's about like shopping around the government in South America. South America is roughly, the same size as North America is, but is far more stratified into different countries, and there are far more differences between the governments in South America than, one would expect. And so, picking a country in South America is about finding one that, has a lot of your sensibilities. And when it comes down to it, Uruguay is that for us. We've just got the long laundry list of policies that I think are positive policies for a government to have. Would you consider living in New Zealand? Beautiful country, feels like a much warmer Canada. I mean, New Zealand would be great, but the barrier to entry in New Zealand is super high. Like, people are not like New Zealand is not super keen on having tons of people come to it, and so that's all there is to it. Whereas, like by conversely, a place like Uruguay wants to have somebody with a middle income move there and become part of their country. Like they've got very, very open, very, very easy immigration rules.
I mean, but it's still money like it is anywhere else. Like,
Yeah, it's money.
That's a high barrier for other people.
Sure. I'm just talking about from my perspective and from where I am.
Really,
Like
everywhere has a money entry.
Of course, you can't just like move anywhere in the world with no money. You have to make a certain amount of money. You have to have some kind of a livelihood. They don't want to just adopt a person that's going to be on social services. You have to at least provide them some reassurance that you have a job that you're going to be able to work down there. I've got all that. You know what I mean? All I'd need is access to the internet, and there is internet in Uruguay. So, you know what I mean? I have what it takes to get there. I make enough money as it stands to immigrate there. I like their rules on immigration, so it wouldn't have to be something I would have to do super quickly. Foreign nationals are given the same rights as Uruguayan nationals when it comes to land ownership in Uruguay. So if I wanted to, I could go and buy a house there and live there for a couple of years before I decide whether or not I want to renounce my citizenship. I would remain a citizen of the United States and continue paying my taxes there and work on a visa in Uruguay. And then if I decided I wanted to immigrate, I could do that very easily.
Philippines ain't good unless you're Catholic.
Even if you're Catholic, I wouldn't go anywhere near the fucking Philippines. I mean, I might visit the Philippines or something or vacation there, but I wouldn't want to live in the Philippines. No, thank you. Come on, Paul. It's one of the third world hellholes you're saying you want to move to. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, and this is like the third time we posted that.
Yeah, seriously. You're on thin ice today, Ian. I don't know why, but your annoyance is spreading. They'll shoot you for the legal tobaccos. Actually, pot has been legal, completely recreationally legal and available to buy in grocery stores in Uruguay since the 1980s.
I think we're talking about the Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines? That's why. I ain't going nowhere where somebody's going to throw me in a gulag for smoking a doobie. Just not happening. Not interested.
Coffee.
Oh, thank you, baby. I thought that was your coffee sitting there. Yeah, you can walk into a grocery store in Uruguay and buy some weed with your groceries. That to me, that alone is reason to immigrate there for me. I'm heading out, honey. I'll see you in a few minutes. Taking the capybara down to the store and getting some weed. All right. Walk my cappies down there.
We don't want them to get into fights with the street capybaras.
That's true. The street cappies. I don't think they fight. Capybaras just look fucking, they're too chill. Is it good weed or is it dirt weed? I imagine that since it's been legal in the country forever, and since the country has a climate in which weed would grow very well and grows naturally and very well, I would say that it's probably pretty dank weed. I would imagine it's not dirt-ass fucking shit weed.
Like they're getting it from Mexico.
You can grow your own there. Like it's legal to have your own weed plantation there. So like even if the shit you bought at the stores is dirt, like you could just grow your own. Do you know Spanish already? I speak like very basic conversational Spanish. I can understand more Spanish than I can speak, but speaking Spanish is not necessary to move to Uruguay. The current generation and the last generation of Uruguayans, so the current adult generation and their parents were all fluent in English. English is the second most spoken language in Uruguay, just after Spanish. You don't need to know Spanish to navigate Uruguay, especially if you're going to be living in near one of the major population centers, like Montevideo, which is where we would go.
Well, rich people have been going there like during the COVID lockdowns to escape the lockdown because they had their shit together.
Well, Uruguay has a really weird history. Like, there's a lot of Italian heritage in Uruguay because a lot of Italian immigrants moved there. So some people in Uruguay speak Italian. There's a lot of German heritage in Uruguay because a lot of German people immigrated there, and so there's a lot of German speaking in Uruguay. But overall, English is spoken in the major cities and by most people in Uruguay. So. If there was no pandemic, would you go now? If there was no pandemic, I'd probably be farther along the process of going. The pandemic makes it really, really hard to even travel outside of your country. One of the
They don't want us.
Right, one of the reasons that Uruguay, has had such a low incidence of death from COVID-19 and a low incidence of spread in their countries because they took it very fucking seriously. They close their borders. They don't allow people from outbreak areas to come into their fucking country. They have mask mandates and,
They also have more cows than people.
They do have more cows than people. That's another thing.
Yeah, we can't really be vegetarian in Uruguay.
Well, we could be, but it would be harder to be vegetarian there than it would be to be vegetarian here. Their society, if you can believe it, is even more meat-dominated than American society is. So that would be one thing we'd have to contend with for sure.
In terms of all the meats, you probably have the least issue with beef.
Probably. I don't know, man. I'm fine. Part of me thinks I need to just fucking admit that the issues that I have with food are just ethical issues. And, try and see if I can just eat fucking vegetables. It'll probably be good for me.
Okay.
Be some flavor of a vegetarian.
Dang, knock my phone down.
What'd you do that for?
You come back.
Why don't you get on this chair?
Oh. You want that? Are you gonna abandon it again like the last one?
I avoid eating mammals. Okay.
Go get it. Go get it. Dinor, I just threw it. Dinor, I just threw it. Come on.
Dinor is, he might be a little high this morning. I don't know what his problem is. Scotty's a vegetarian, so you could probably get some advice from him. Say what? Scotty's a vegetarian? Say who? I think Scotty was a vegetarian right when I first met him. Yeah, he was dating a chick that was a vegetarian, and he himself was vegetarian when I first met Scotty. But Scotty ain't no goddamn vegetarian. Is Paul actually planning to move, or is he just hypothesizing? I'm doing both. I'm planning to move quite a bit in the next 5 to 10 years of my life. And one of those places may be a foreign country. Oh, D.
He's been ignoring it. It's your ball.
Start eating bugs, mealworms, and crickets really aren't bad if you cook and season them. Is moving stressful for you or freeing? Depends on the move, I guess. I mean, every move is stressful, so it's both. But I have been liberated several times in my lives, or at least felt liberated by moving away from, the area that I was in. When I moved out of California to Texas, that felt like freedom to me. It felt like a new lease on life. It felt like a new lease on expectations for myself. It felt like permission to pursue a new avenue in life. And it felt very good. Moving out of Louisiana to where the bunker is now, similar. Felt like a new lease on life. It felt like a new lease on freedom and being able to move around. But it was also a very stressful move. Like, it was an incredibly stressful move. So you got to take the good with the bad. Why not Hawaii? The cost of living Hawaii is obscene. What did you like about Louisiana? The food, the amount of rain. Hey, what's your problem?
He abandoned his ball 3 times in a row.
Oh, don't fetch him when he's doing that. There's no point. You're fetching yourself at that point.
I give up.
You don't want to fetch, don't bring the ball. Yeah, I don't miss the swamp ass. I don't miss the horrible roads and blah, 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 blah. I don't miss the summers, especially, and just how oppressively, humidly hot it remains all day and all night. I don't miss the mosquitoes. I don't miss the...
We missed the TV that we broke along the way.
Yeah. That was the one casualty of my move, is that my TV was broken. You always have to sacrifice one or two things to the moving gods, in my experience. Something is going to break, and this time, unfortunately, it was my TV.
But at least it was like the $300 TV and not the $3,000 PC.
Yeah, my PC would have been a way bigger tragedy to lose. The TV that I paid $300 for 5 years ago was, I can take that sting. But that was the worst that happened on the move.
No, I guess, we lost White-billed Paul too, but you're getting sick of him anyways.
Oh, yeah, my white guilt Paul thing just kind of fucking disappeared. Yeah, the road, honestly, were really bad when I drove to the meetup. Like, going from Texas to Louisiana, the road quality changed pretty quick.
Well, yeah, if you're from Texas, then you're gonna notice.
Oh, yeah.
Texas spoils.
Oh, yeah. Texas is like fucking, like, some of the best roads in the country, especially when you're not in major population centers. Texas gets fucky once you get to, like, Houston or Dallas. Like, if you're driving on a main artery that cuts through Houston or Dallas, that's when Texas roads get fucky. It's not necessarily that they're bad, it's just that they're insane. But when you're driving through, like, the country parts of Texas on a main artery, dude, it is like smooth fucking sailing. Beautiful roads, well-maintained, beautiful fucking roads. And then say you're driving east in Texas out of San Antonio, like I did. Soon as you get close to the border of fucking Louisiana, everything goes to shit.
Just like...
The road is like... And you're like, what the fuck is this? Everything narrows and, like... You're like, oh, God, no. Yeah, Louisiana roads are notoriously bad. There was a road near where I lived where I would see people that had, it's called Lee Road. And I'd see people all the time when I was driving around back and forth to the studio, usually, like with bumper stickers that would say, "Pray for me, I drive Lee Road." And it's like, there's bumper stickers for a road that's so bad because it kills a bunch of people around here.
No sidewalks.
Yeah, sidewalks. There's no such thing as a sidewalk in most of Louisiana. There are sidewalks and walking areas like built into like touristy areas, and some parts of like New Orleans will have sidewalks, but in general, unless you live near the touristier areas of New Orleans proper, there's no such thing as a goddamn sidewalk or a bike lane to be found anywhere in Louisiana, as far as I know. You just don't walk. So many people are hit like pedestrians. Like there's a super high incidence of pedestrian death in Louisiana in comparison to neighboring states, because Louisiana just has never designed and refuses to design its roads and thoroughfares to be usable by people on foot.
They also don't charge taxes to pay for it either.
Right. No income tax.
Money's got to come from someone's ass.
I went to New Orleans a few years back. The sidewalk near where I stayed was the most fucked up sidewalk I've ever seen. Yeah. Yeah, Doug. Yeah, you understand. There's great food there, and a lot of fun culture, and visiting there is not something that I regret doing. Living there for as long as I did is something that I regret doing. And I've definitely learned my lesson. It would take literally an act of Congress and an act of God simultaneously to get me to move back to fucking Louisiana. It would take an act of state Congress to get me to visit Louisiana ever again. So, you ordered a DFF shirt. Good thinking. Good purchase. You'll love it.
We're past hoodie weather, I think, unfortunately.
I mean, I don't know. We might have a dip back towards chillier, but it's, I think the coldest part of the winter is probably past.
Minor, come here. Look at Mama. Sit.
Yeah, if something bothers you over there, don't look at it. You don't have to bark at it. You just don't look at it. I had to learn that lesson too, about calling out everything that I saw in the world that I hated all the time. It's no fun. Government. Paul, you keep reminding people we suck to get back at you. Move back to Louisiana, yeah. He is a baby. Like dogs, like they have like the mental capacity of like a toddler.
I think domestication kind of keeps them in like an infantile state
Right.
too. Like even with cats, like they don't cry at each other like they cry at us.
Well, they have a whole different, domesticated cats have a whole different way of living than non-domesticated cats do, and communicating, and like the domesticated cat basically invented the meow to be cute and to get our attention.
Mm-hmm. They're just kittens forever.
Yep, they just stay kittens. Like that, kittens mew to get their mother's attention, and domesticated cats just never outgrow that. They just keep mewing at you their whole lives. And, animals are kind of like that. You have to kind of think of them like that. Like Dinor has a basic working understanding of, where he is and like how the world around him operates according to him. But like, I don't know. He can't contextualize it like we can. I see you already locked in on that woman walking her dog. It ain't gonna happen, bud.
Come here. You stay with Mama.
That's a person walking their dog.
You wouldn't want to get forked at if we were walking you.
My cat has separation issues. When I close the door, she does the howling thing, and then when I'm home, she's almost always within 5 feet of me. Yeah, I mean, Cricket is like that too. He can't come outside. He's not an outdoor cat. And so when we're sitting out here, sometimes I'll just hear him off in the house, like howling at one of the doors, like, come on.
He doesn't like it when I'm trying to sleep and you're up.
Yeah. He doesn't like one of us to be asleep at any given time. Like, if we're both asleep, there's a chance he's cool with us both staying asleep. But if one of us gets up, the other one has to get up too. Which, usually works out, but is sometimes annoying. What kind of cap is this? It's like a canvas cap. I got it on Amazon years and years and years and years ago. It's old as fuck. It's ancient cap. It's 100% cotton, one size fits all, made in good old China. Dinor. See? Come here. Come on. Go inside. Go inside, go inside, go inside, go inside, go inside, and stay inside. That's what's going to happen now when you blow up at people that are just walking by. You're going inside. Such a dick. Dinor's mad because he wants you to buy American. Maybe that's what it was, yeah. He blew up because I have a Chinese hat on my head. No, it's just a cheap blank cap. I got it so that I didn't have to buy an expensive hat and bend the bill on it. This was how you wore your hat when I was a teenager. And now, like nowadays, you wear your hat like this. And I don't get it. I don't.
You gotta have that crisp hat too.
Yeah, it's gotta be like
the tag on it.
Yeah. Like in my days, it was cool to have an old hat that was all folded up that you could stuff in your pocket, throw on your head. And the older your hat looked, the cooler and more legit it looked. And nowadays, it's all about that crisp ass fucking like fresh out the salon kind of look. Some people like wearing caps with no bill at all. Yeah, I mean, like the backwards hat thing. I like that.
And the beanies.
And the beanies, yeah. But I never was able to get into like trucker hats or snapbacks, all that well. And I definitely don't like the way I look wearing like a straight brimmed hat. Like a cap with a straight brim. I don't like the way it looks. I look like an old, like it really reminds me of that like Steve Buscemi meme where he's got like the skateboard.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, hello there, fellow kids. Like, I feel like, I don't know.
Not quite as old as my dad where you don't give a shit. You just wear a fedora again.
Well, no, but you see, that's cool though. Like your dad has a look. He has a whole ass look that he's going for, and he doesn't like, but your dad would look ridiculous in like a fresh, straight brimmed snapback. You know what I mean? He'd look like an old man trying to be a teenage boy.
Maybe so.
So I can't do that. I can't allow myself to
probably
be perceived that way.
From a distance.
From a distance. I'm a fan of bad movies. Found one on Netflix you should watch. It's called Ghosts of War. It's a definition of writers who can't figure out how to end a movie. That's not a good endorsement.
What was that shark one we saw last night?
Oh my God. Sharka Claws?
Yeah, or like
Or
Santa Jaws or something.
Santa Jaws. That's what it was. No, man. I don't know. Is it like maybe one day I will be in the mood to check out Santa Jaws, but it's a shark with a Santa hat on that kills a dude's family. That's what the movie was supposed to be. Like, I just... See the little bird chasing away these crows who are probably trying to get its eggs. And there's a whole bird drama going on over there. I don't even want to know. Yeah, there's a definite difference between so bad it's good and so bad it's bad. And there are far more so bad it's bad movies than there are so bad it's good movies. I think I found out really what's at the core of a so bad it's good movie. Somebody with talent and a misguided idea. Those are the two things that you have to combine to get a so bad it's good movie.
Or just a really good idea, no budget.
No. Those, like the really good idea but zero budget movies tend to be bad. They tend to be like unwatchable bad for some reason. It is always somebody who had a misguided idea but but talent and passion. You can tell that talent and passion and somebody really cared about a film. That's what, in my mind, makes a so bad it's good movie. But that person has to be deluded into thinking they're making a good movie. It cannot be made. So many of these bad movies that people watch, like, oh, look at this bad movie, like Santa Jaws.
Yeah.
That movie was made with the knowledge that people are going to look at it immediately and go, like, this is schlock.
Yeah.
And it's probably written to be schlock. I hate that.
It's like trying to bounce off of Sharknado or whatever.
It has to be somebody who thinks they're making a goddamn fucking masterpiece.
Like Troll 2.
Like Troll 2, yeah. Like, God, what's his name? I can't remember the name of the director. Claudio Fragasso was the Italian director of Troll 2, and he had no idea he was making a piece of dog shit. No idea. He took everything incredibly seriously. The script was very important to him. You know what I mean? And he made this laughably horrible movie that is ultimately so watchable because he treated every shot like it was serious.
Every line,
Right. Every line of the script had to be exactly how it was written, even though it was written in broken English by his wife who spoke Italian and broken English. You know what I mean? That's the shit. That's the key to a so bad it's good film. That's the key. You got to have a talented person, and Claudio Fragasso, talented director, talented. You can't not be talented and film a movie. Like, you have to have a talent. So he's got the talent. He's got this delusional idea that this script is doable, and he plowed forward like he was making fucking Citizen Kane. The same could be said for Tommy Wiseau's The Room. Tommy Wiseau is a dude that has an incredible talent for composing shit. And he doesn't know it. It's like he's unaware of it. He thinks that he's writing this fucking magnum opus script. And what ends up happening is a total tragedy of a movie, but it's so watchable because he took it so fucking seriously. Because he existed in this deluded bubble that what he was making was a masterpiece. So the fact that it sucks gets moved aside, and all of the passion and fun of the movie comes bubbling to the surface. Manos, the Hand of Fate is so bad it's bad. If you like Manos, the Hand of Fate, more power to you, but that's an example of a movie that's so bad it's bad. It's shit from start to finish. It's almost unwatchable. It's one of the most boring films you'll ever sit through.
Yeah. I noticed that The Fanatic was weirdly watchable.
exactly for the same reason. Fred Durst exists in this bubble of ego where he is this badass rapper rocker guy forever. And what he does is dope. And he made a movie with one of the dopest fucking actors in the world.
And John Travolta took
John
it as
Travolta.
seriously as he did.
John Travolta also lives in a weird fucking ego bubble where he's still the fucking lead character from Saturday Night Fever, strutting down the street in bell bottoms and a big butterfly fucking, or he's still the Pulp Fiction. Like, he exists in this. So these two egos got together, took a look at this dog shit script, and it really is. It's a horrible movie, horrible conception for a film, just terrible, and took it totally seriously. And what came out of the other end of it is like oddly compelling and oddly entertaining, even though it sucks. That's the key. The key is the delusion of the person that's making it. Or maybe delusion is the wrong word. The single-mindedness, for whatever reason, of the person that's making it. If the person that's making it is aware they're cutting corners, the person that's making it is aware they're just making a movie to try and cash in. If they're aware that they're doing a tongue-in-cheek schlock movie and they intentionally write funny lines in and intentionally make it bad and goofy, it sucks.
And probably the exception is like Alien Covenant, because he probably believed he was hot shit making that movie.
Well, Ridley Scott is hot shit.
Yeah. He just did a horrible movie.
He just made two really bad movies in the Alien franchise. But there's redeemable qualities. Both of those movies have, and I hate to admit it, ultimately a watchability to them. They're not good. You don't have fun. And if you're an Alien fan, you're most likely insulted by what the franchise has become. But they're beautiful to look at sometimes. Some of the shots, beautiful. That's Ridley Scott's talent shining through. And it's exactly the same thing. It's like, if there's that fucking talent and also that single-mindedness, whether it's a self-delusion or an ego bubble or whatever it is, that's how you get a so bad it's good film. That's how they happen. That's how they're made. And I really love them. I love the passion that comes out of Troll 2.
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck, yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people shit on that movie, but man, so much passion went into making that fucking film. So much talent, so much art went into making that fucking film. And you can't tear your eyes away from it. It's like a train wreck that you can't stop watching. Came out as gay to my roommate last night, and I was so emotional and down on my awful retail job today that I was sent home. I don't know, here's $5. Well, I'm sorry that it wasn't what you thought it was going to be or whatever. You know, that sucks. I don't know what to tell you. But I think that in the long run, you'll be better for being who you are. The closet is not a fun place to be. No, UHF is just awesome. Exactly, yeah. Weird Al Yankovic's UHF is just a work of mad, trollish genius. It's not so bad it's good. It's not bad in any way. It's just a fucking fantastic film made by a crazy, fucked up mind. What about outsider musicians? Do they live in their own delusional bubbles? Absolutely. So you're talking about people like, when I think outsider musicians, the two names that come to mind are Daniel Johnston and Wesley Willis. Daniel Johnston being probably my favorite outsider musician of all time, and Wesley Willis being one of the most memorable outsider musicians of all time. And yes, they too exist in some kind of a bubble, whether it's delusion via ego or just simple delusion, but the passion comes bubbling forth from what they do. I mean, Daniel Johnston is my favorite example of the outsider musician. Because the first time you hear his music, At least, oh, okay, I won't say you. The first time I heard his music, I was like, the fuck is this guy doing? It's immediately like, but then I learned a little bit about the dude and I started listening to more of his music and I went back and revisited what I had listened and I was like, what's an outsider musician? Like a musician that's making music that doesn't conform to modern standards and isn't trying to make music that conforms in any way to modern standards, both of quality of production or content or lyricism or style or substance. They don't adhere, they march to the beat of their own drummer and are often thought of as shitty musicians as a result. G.G. Allen is another example of an outsider musician. Exactly. Like Ozzy Osbourne in the 60s. Ozzy Osbourne very quickly entered the mainstream, and most outsider musicians never do. Well, any outsider artist has a tough time. I mean, you can extrapolate this to any kind of art. There are people out there who are pushing the boundaries of what people consider to be art for different reasons in every kind of artistic medium. Alan Holdsworth. Never heard. As a filmmaker, I've learned your scale of production should be in line with your budget. That's why talented people end up making crap. They don't work within their means. Right. That's exactly true. And that's exactly why that inverse situation where it's just like somebody has a really good idea but doesn't have enough money, that you can't blame that on the money. That's a failure of the creative to conform their project to what can possibly be made. It's like it would be like a painter setting out to paint a painting the size of a building but not being able to afford the canvas or the amount of paint that he would need to paint it. You know what I mean? And so thus painting a much smaller painting that doesn't have anywhere near the scope or impact and then wondering why, people hated it so much. It's like, I mean, come on. Night of the Living Dead was a super low budget classic film. Yeah. This I know, for the Bible tells me so. Do you think Ween is like that, despite having a mainstream audience? I think that Ween are an example of the very rare outsider artist that crosses over into the kind of mass consciousness. And it does happen. Hey, Paul, any Derek Jensen books you'd recommend for somebody who hasn't read anything from him yet? Endgame seems like a good place to start, but it looks like he has a pretty large body of work. So I always recommend both Endgame and A Language Older Than Words. Those are the two Jensen books that I'm most familiar with. And I think that they give you the closest look at his philosophy. He has a number of other works that if you read those two, I can give you a reading list after, but I would recommend you start there. I'd also recommend, if you have not, picking up Daniel Quinn's Ishmael. Not to be a broken record, but if you want to read something that is in that vein, that is maybe a little less preachy and a little more accessible, Daniel Quinn's Ishmael is a good place to start. We're always asking if you've heard X artist. What obscure artists would you recommend we listen? I mean, we're sitting here talking about a bunch of them today. You know what I mean? If you have never heard Daniel Johnston, I recommend you check out his work. If you've never heard, I don't know. Like it's hard to give you like a list of people because I don't think of artists as lesser known type of artists. If you're into the kind of quieter, folksier kind of stuff, there's an album that I always proselytize. It's Ryan Adams' Heartbreaker, his first big studio album. And that is great kind of alt country folk, low, down tempo stuff that's awesome. I mean, I don't know, man. My musical whims. I tried to put people onto Mario Judah the other day, and I got mixed results of that. But yeah, Mario Judah. If you're looking for a trap artist to a Buckethead, sure. Ween. A lot of people are familiar with Ween because they have one or two kind of like breakout songs. They have that song Ocean Man that got popular in commercials and movies for a while. And you know, a couple of other songs that were picked up here and there, but most of Ween's body of work goes completely and utterly unknown by people. And so I'm a huge Ween fan. I really can't recommend, like, if you want to challenge your musical preconceptions, pick up The Pod by Ween and just hit play and listen to what it is. The Pod is a very lo-fi, very low-budget, early work of Dean and Gene Ween that is really cool. Let me go help the lens flare out here. Just give me a sec. I'm sitting in the one spot where there's like a giant fucking beam of sunlight. There we go. Fixed. Do 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 do. Fun fact, when an umbrella is used to block the sun, it becomes a parasol. Oh, yes. Got a lot of leaves on the tree for the winter. These are evergreens behind me. So they have a lot of leaves on them year round. Can I send you some folk punk artists to check out sometimes on Twitter? Conversation got me on one, sure. Yeah. I can't promise that I'll like it, and I can't promise that I'll, listen to it right away or whatever. But you know how I am with DMs and shit. But yeah, that's a good place to send me shit. Link me a fucking video that I can click on real quick and listen to it, and I'll give it a shot. The whole music stuff and the music recommendation stuff, and I'm not calling out anybody specifically on this. To me, it's not annoying. It's just like I find it to be kind of like unnecessary. I like curating my own musical experience. I run across artists naturally, because I go seeking out new music on a semi-regular basis to keep myself fresh on things, and it's like a hobby of mine to curate my own musical kind of taste. And so it's not out of like disdain for the taste of other people or disdain for any particular artist that I don't take recommendations very well. It's because I really like curating that shit myself. I like finding things on my own. I like getting into things on my own. I like looking at new stuff and deciding like what I like and what I don't like. I like sharing those things with people, but not necessarily in an evangelistic way, just to let people know, because I get asked a lot. And I think that that's really the disconnect for a lot of people. Is I get asked a lot, like, what are you into? And then, a lot of people, I think, very, very normally take that as a prompt to be like, oh, yeah, well, here's what I'm into that you should be into. And I'm not, I never looked for that interaction. I keep my circle small when it comes to people who I take recommendations from. And I have to do that because I'm just like, you got to understand, as a dude that works the job that I do and discusses entertainment and music and shit, like I get bombarded. And if I watched every little fucking thing that everybody wanted me to watch, I'd be constantly watching shit that I probably wasn't all that into. But in general, I keep my circle small. And that even outside of that, keeping your circle small is, I think, important these days. The world has changed since I was a younger person, and you could have this like large group of friends that all lived in the same town as you and shit. Like that shit is different now. The best way to find new music is to hear others talk about it. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe for you, that's not really how I find new music, but good on you. Are you the only one not getting sound? I think you're probably the only one not getting sound. I've got a feeling that, yeah, I have a feeling that everybody would be letting me know if the sound wasn't working, so. Maybe that's because Apple Music is terrible about reggae. See, it's not even necessarily that. Like, here's what I like to do. I'll give you guys a preview of what I do when I'm feeling like I want to check out new music. SoundCloud is one of the places that I land. I will look at artists that I like on SoundCloud that haven't necessarily broken, and then look at the recommended artists and the related artists for those folks. I'll look at the trending stuff and give it a listen. Oftentimes I'll find music by looking into things that I've heard in passing, like in movies or used in a piece of content or used in a video game. I'll look into an artist that I hear whose song that I really, really like for some reason. And then I kind of watch what a few people who I think are also musically talented shout out. So people who I really revere their music. I look at what they're listening to if they share that. And those are probably the three most useful ways that I've found to excuse me, find new stuff. Sorry, got a beat in my head. People just want to have their favorite music being talked about. I don't know. Well, whatever. You're probably right about that. My pastor recommends albums in church by throwing them at the congregation. Cool. My pastor bans people for making nonsense comments. Whatever happened to the manatee? I don't know. Go on an expedition and find out. I'm on the draw now. Now everybody gets all now they all get all quiet, dude. My sister's church banned her for wearing pants. Well, I'm gonna time you out for that one. That was stupid. How does he conduct service? What? What? All right. Timed. I mean, come on. Not a single thing that I've read so far has made any fucking sense. Any fucking sense. Ian Jones. Oh, yep. Good. He's gone. Time him out. Yeah, dude. Fucking what's up with the goddamn conversations that have nothing to do with what we're talking about and shit? Like pleb and Spectre alike, stop doing that shit. This is not a place to have private fucking conversations about your shit. If you want to do that, take it to DMs, hook up on fucking Twitter with one another. Like I shouldn't have to fucking look at my shit and be confused by what's going on. Like we're sitting here having a conversation. So get fucking decafed if you can't abide. Like I'm fine with you bringing up other topics. It looks like we're, cruising to the end of our little musical topic or whatever, but rateyourmusic.com is kind of like a letterboxed for music. I Scrabble. I have a Lost FM or Last FM account. And I've been doing that for a long time. And so that's a good, way for me. I don't really share that with other people, but that's a good way for me. It's a private account. I don't have a single friend on it. But it's a good way for me to keep track of everything that I'm listening to. Revenge of the Sun Glare, I know. It just keeps creeping past my attempts to block it with my parasol. Oh well, at least now it's cool. It's making looks like the event horizon of an explosion or something. It's kind of neat. I like that lens flare. Paul, what flavor is the vape ATM? This is super lemon haze something or another. Tastes like a lemon cookie. Yeah, George Lucas directed and produced this Highdeology. Yeah, Michael Bay was an associate producer, so you guys are starting to get it now. You're starting to see. When do we get the special edition of the stream? What stream? Every stream. This is the director's cut. Yeah, I'll CGI Marshall in. I'll have your lopped off face just like floating here next to me. That'd be dope. That's a cool idea. Dude, that's a really cool idea. On one of our Beauregard Manson collabs, dude, for a fucking music video. During one of your parts, just have you like haunting me. as a disembodied face. Playing any games right now? Well, I beat Cyberpunk 2077 last night, finally. I finally just got tired of doing side quests and shit, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go do the last mission. Because, the last mission always warns you. I got to the last mission, and it was like, warning, this is the final mission or whatever the fuck. And I was like, okay. So I stopped there, and I went back, and I did some more side shit, and I really got done with it. I was like, I've done enough. I did the full-blown Corpo ending, which, I gotta tell you, I usually don't really care about the endings in games like Cyberpunk, but it was a really disappointing ending.
It was a snooze fest.
It was really boring. It was really, 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 really super duper boring. And, yeah, I kind of feel like it was a waste of my time to watch it. And then it just drops you back in the world. And it's like, hey, you can keep playing if you want. And I'm like, nah, I don't really want to.
And it's not even keep playing. It's like, here's your save from before you did the ending.
Yeah.
You do the ending all over again.
Right, because spoiler alert, you die. Which is the most interesting part of the Corpo ending. Game is not boring. The gameplay loop is pretty satisfying. I liked driving around Night City. I liked jumping out of my car and fucking killing a bunch of thugs. I liked jumping out of my car and finding new missions. I liked sneaking into buildings and shooting at fucking crazy cyber gang members. And I liked feuding with the cops when I came up against them, and I liked this, that, and the other. I liked the gameplay loop of playing, the actual playing of the game. My main criticisms of the game are far too much. It's like they've taken Grand Theft Auto 4's constant cell phone spam of hey, Nico, want to meet up and go bowling, cousin? Every 5 minutes, and they've taken it to the nth degree. Your phone blows up 24/7, 365 while you're playing this goddamn game. Every time you drive to a new area, you get a phone call. Every time you finish a mission, you get a phone call. Sometimes when you finish a mission, you get a phone call and then another phone call right after that phone call giving you another mission. Sometimes you get this buildup of phone calls where you'll get a phone call during another phone call. It's absurd.
And then you have to dig through your text to complete some missions, and you realize that you had completed a mission ages ago and you just didn't send the text.
Yeah. You refunded due to crashes on PS4. I never would have played this game on a fucking console. Sorry. This is definitely a PC game for me. But yeah, I had major crashing and shit at the beginning, but they patched it really quickly. The big gun, I think it was 1.5 patch or 1.4 patch that they released, fixed my crashing issues and pretty much every issue I had with the game.
You still had aesthetic issues in the very end game.
Oh yeah, there were the game continued to have these weird little glitches, where stuff would disappear or people would glitch around the room a little bit, or NPCs would do something confusing, or somebody would walk through a park bench. Or whatever the fuck. But those little things, I don't really care. Little tiny hitches in a game are forgivable if I'm having enough fun playing the game. And I really did have fun playing the game, but I feel like I was able to trivialize the combat in the game by about the mid game. I think I was you remember watching me when I'd first started. I was struggling. It was hard. I had to really fucking come at each engagement right. But once I got enough levels on me and got enough perks and found enough high-end weapons and crafted enough good mods for them and found the armored shit, once I got geared out, which happened just naturally because of the way I play games. And here's the key to getting geared out in Cyberpunk 2077 or any game like it. When you're on a mission and the game is pointing you in a building this way, go the other way. Go down the hall and see what's up and around the corner. Check what's on top of the building. Check what's beneath it. Don't just go straight to the fucking objective and finish it and leave. clean out the whole building, and you're going to find fucking legendary weapons, legendary armor, shit that's going to be upgrades for what you have so quick your head will spin, just in normal missions and side quests. Yeah.
I'm just picking up guns off of everybody.
Yep. Well, I did that not necessarily because I never really found an upgrade off of a normal guy that I killed. I picked
you
up
got the
every
parts.
weapon because I got the parts because I went into engineering and that did end up helping me. I was able to create that orange sword that I used at the end game, which would have been a purple sword if I hadn't had the ability to upgrade it. The sniper pistol gun that I would use from afar, that was the quest reward for River's quest, but it was purple, and it wouldn't have been great. It had 6 slots as a legendary. It was insane weapon.
You're able to craft a bunch of guns to like wipe out different sellers.
Oh yeah, I made so much money. I could have bought every car in the game
If
by
you just sat and
crafted and then just
500
traveled
guns.
around all the gun manufacturers and sell points and just bankrupted them. But I had the 2 most expensive cars in the game, which are the Rayfield Caliburn, which is kind of like the Lambo, and the Rayfield Erudite Guinevere, which is like a Rolls, basically, like a Rolly. And then I had the best motorcycle in the game, and I had the best Nomad car in the game. So I bought all the like best cars in the game just ambiently, basically, by doing side quests. And then I finished off the last bit that I needed for the most expensive car in the game by just crafting green weapons and selling them. Because I had literally built up a collection of, like, in some cases, thousands of parts.
I think Outer Worlds had that issue too, where you just had an insane amount of weapons that you had no use for, and you just broke them all down.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really a problem for me in this game. I didn't mind the weapon breakdown thing. What I minded was how infrequently crafting was actually useful to me. It was like, yes, I was able to ultimately, because I went deep into the crafting tree, craft a legendary gun that would one-shot pretty much anybody in the game that wasn't a boss. I was able to craft a sword that had such insane crit that it killed one-shot pretty much every normal enemy in the game. 1 or 2 shot everything. Chink, chink, dead. Dead. But there was I kind of envisioned that like I would do that, and then I would find another gun and look at the one that I had and be like, oh man, dude, if I bring this one up, it's even better. And it never happened. There was never any point once I had the gun that I had upgraded to legendary to go with any other gun. That gun was an absurdity of power. And I did the pistol route on this because that's always the route I go in Deus Ex. I always just like max out the pistol and make it like an absurd, basically sniper rifle pistol. And that's what I did in this. I used a revolver, a silenced revolver like a sniper rifle. And I trivialized 90% of the encounters in the game using it. Yeah, I definitely, Zonster, like, I want to play the game again. I definitely won't go as deep into the crafting shit as I did because of that. Because I really, like, I don't think it's necessary. I think if I would have went deeper into other trees, I would have been even more powerful. Because, yeah, I wouldn't have had the tip-top gun, but I would have found a legendary gun that was comparable, that would have done a massive amount of damage.
If you had just invested in body, you would have way more health, and then it wouldn't have been a challenge.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to put some points into engineering because I think it's important to be able to break down the weapons and shit. But more than likely in my next playthrough, I won't put much into engineering at all. I'll probably just sell everything. I'll have such a huge carry capacity because I'm going to invest in body so much. But I definitely will play the game again, but I'm going to take a long break from it because I really just kind of got done with it. The side quests started to get very repetitive. Like it would feel like it would be different, because a different fixer would call me up and be like, V, I need you to take care of a problem for me. Blah, 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 blah. And I'd go, okay, this sounds different. And then the mission would be me infiltrating a building, trying not to get seen, and stealing data slash assassinating somebody slash exfiltrating somebody slash blowing something up slash stealing a car. So the end goal was always different, but the way I had to get to the end goal was the same shit every time. I need you to go into the Arasaka warehouse and steal this piece of technology. Well, that means I have to sneak around and do a lot of headshots and shit and not get caught.
And it was pretty
I need you to
ridiculous that you could steal every goddamn thing. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, like that was well, I mean whatever. I prefer that or not or a very strict system. So like, but this game is kind of, it's, if you're big into the immersion, which for this type of game, I'm kind of into immersion, but not totally. Yeah, you can just take things right in front of people. They don't care. Like there'll be a gun sitting on a counter in a gun shop and you can just like, there's like money rolls sitting on people's desks and you just like jump on their desk and grab it all.
The shards weren't interesting at all.
I didn't even read a fucking single shard unless I had to for a fucking thing. I just was not interested in the lore. Well, that's not true. I read a couple of them, and then that's why I stopped reading them, because I was just like, eh. The lore was not what I was there for. Are there drugs you can do? Kinda. There's like consumables, basically. I wouldn't say they're drugs. They're like, yeah, if you do it before you're in combat, like if you eat something and drink something, you get like extra stamina regen and blah, 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 blah. You get like some boosts to your move speed and your dodge or whatever. And it only lasts like for a few minutes and then you got to do it again. And I got to be honest with you, totally unnecessary. I did it a few times in the game when I remembered to, but 90% of the encounters I beat without any food buff or what, so it's totally pointless. I played on hard too, so you know, even at the second to the highest difficulty level, it's completely trivial to use those things. And it even said when I picked hard, it was like careful use of consumables and careful consideration of level up points are a must to beat this, you know, difficulty level. And I was like, okay, that sounds good.
You got their version of the stim packs like candy.
Oh my god, dude, the healing thing in this game, they may as well make it automatic.
Yeah.
Because it's like just ambiently. I never I was a crafting dude. I never crafted a stim pack or a max doc or whatever the fuck it was. I had hundreds of them just from picking them up in the game. Never had to craft one. It makes healing a trivial thing. You don't have to really consider your health. You can always just run away and hit the max dock a couple of times and you're right back in the thing. Your health, you know. A good thing for me, because I was able to completely ignore the stat that gives you HP and armor. I completely ignored body. I completely ignored the armor stats and engineering and focused completely on the crafting.
You're able to craft things that like boosted your armor by like 150.
It was absurd, but I was still like, even with all that armor, yeah, I was still one or two shot by most things in the game. So for me,
there's no damage threshold like in some games. Like armor blocks certain bullets better than others.
I think the armor worked better against like melee people, because they would have to hit me a few times usually with their swords or their fists or their blades or whatever the fuck. But bullets, one or two shots, I was fucking dead. Yeah,
but I had even see your outfits really.
Yeah, that was kind of a shame that like there's so much character customization, but so few times that you actually see your character in the game.
Like you see your pants and your shoes. Basically.
Yeah, you can see your hands and your pants, and sometimes the choices that you've made change that, and that's kind of cool. Like if you're wearing gorilla arms, your hands look different than if you're wearing mantis blades or whatever. So that's cool, but you never see your whole character in cutscenes. Like I would have really liked the cutscenes, instead of being this like cinematic approach or this like non-cinematic first-person immersion approach where your character gets into a car and then like the cutscene happens with the person talking to you as you're looking at them. I would rather have seen like a more cinematic cutscene that showed what your character looked like.
Yeah, you didn't even see your face until like the very goddamn end.
I saw my face at the beginning.
Yeah.
You can go walk up to certain mirrors in the game and look at yourself and remind yourself like, oh yeah, that's what I look like. And then at the in the end game, during the final cutscenes, you get to see yourself a little bit. And that's it. So I'm going to make the most ridiculous looking character that I can for the next one. This one, I tried to make a character that looked cool. I gave him like skull and crossbone eyes and like this gold shit, and I gave him golded out teeth. He looked like a trapper. But never got to see his fucking ass. So the next person I make is going to be fucking absurd. And I never played through as a female body type, so it'll have to be a female body type character. And I want to try the other voice because I'm tired of hearing V's male voice. So I'll do the female voice with the female body type. And I'm going to make the most absurd looking character that I can.
Can you make them fat or no?
No. Yet another game where fatties are excluded, even though in Cyberpunk there's no reason for it.
Yeah, there's plenty of other fat characters.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Fat people wandering around all over Cyberpunk. Can't be a fatty, though. Yeah, I'm not going to make a hot chick. I'm going to make the craziest look. I'm going to fuck with every slider, and I'm going to make the most insane looking.
Yeah. And there was like some like stripper skirts that had surprisingly high armor that you could wear.
I was wearing a skirt for a while. I was wearing a bra for a while, too, because I did some mission that was in a strip club, and I found some legendary bra that had like 4 slots, and I was like, bra it is. But yeah, I don't know, man. Game is good, but had a lot of potential to be way better. Ultimately, that's where I stand on it. And maybe they'll fix some of this shit in future, like
that DLC that they're eventually going to release, I guess.
Yeah, but as a rule, I would say don't waste your time buying the cars. Like, you got hella extra money floating around.
You don't even need them for the races.
Nope. There's like a race subplot line where you don't like. You think like, oh, I need a fast car for this. Yeah, it's easier if you have a fast car, but like I won one in a cab.
Yeah.
In my Delamain. I won one in my Delamain cab, so.
And then the one that you thought you could have your epic Badlands car in was like the chick's truck.
Oh yeah, that dude, this fucked me off. Let me tell you something that really punched me in the twat with this game. So here I am, right? I have all this money, and I see I got this race coming up, and it's out in the Badlands. And I saw that there was a car that I could get that was supposed to be the most epic Badlands car, and I went and bought it, and it was hella expensive. And I was like, hell yeah, time to do this Badlands race. And I pulled up in it, and the chick that runs this quest gets out, and she goes like, it's a Badlands race, so we're taking the Beast. And that's her car. And I was like, what? Did you see what the whip that I pulled up in? So I had to drive her slow-ass truck in the race, and the game forces you to do so.
And you still won, because they're not hard.
The races are not hard. And I was just like, you realize what I just spent like 140 grand to buy this insane car that's right behind your stupid truck, and you want to drive your truck? Okay. I still have the car. I just have nothing to use it for. Because there's no reason to have
So
it.
you just want to say hi to Pan Am.
Yeah, unless I want to drive out to Pan Am, but I could do that in my Lambo. Or any of my motorcycles or any other car. Like, it's like the one time it would have been useful for me to have that car. it wasn't useful for me to have that car.
Someone said like interiors are cool, but like you like driving in third person.
Yeah, I'm not a first. Yeah, the interiors of the car are cool to look around in, and I like the like getting in and getting out of the more expensive cars. It looks really dope. But I drive in third person. Like that's the key to that game. That game has a very quirky driving system, and as soon as you learn it, it's like very easy to do. But
I think probably your
in
favorite
third person.
was in Watch Dogs, where they had like the track.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like, I don't know why this game didn't have an ARG track that like, because it did during the races to show you where you should turn. Like, why isn't that a standard feature in the car? Why am I looking at a little mini map with dots going like, do I take the next turn? It's like, isn't this the fucking future? Hologram of the goddamn thing on the road, please, so that I can see where my turns are. Thank you. I've never had my car randomly blow up and kill me. Or glitch in any way other than getting stuck in a wall once.
Or not coming to you.
Or not coming to me, yeah. But usually that was the result of a traffic jam. Like sometimes I would summon my car and I would watch it. It would say like Delamain, 130 meters away. And I'd be like, cool. And then it would be like 160 meters away, 220 meters away. I'm like, is it running from me? Fuck it. So I had a little bit of glitchiness with the cars, but I never had one fucking randomly blow up. And I drove a lot too. I told myself like I'm not gonna like overuse the fast travels in this game because I've already spent too much time saving money to buy these cars, so I'm at least gonna use them. So I would set like my next quest and I would get on my fast ass motorcycle and see how fast I could get there, get in my Lambo and fucking whip it around the corners and shit. Just out of a desire to get some use out of the thing I'd spent all the time in the game getting, because there's no point in doing it. Which Delmain ending did, well, spoiler alert for people who haven't played it, I released the AIs. So I killed Delamain. Like I killed the main Delamain and I released all the little sub-fractured personalities to go do what they wanted.
Might even be $15 6 months from now, honestly.
I don't know if it'll go that quick, but if you're a patient person, this game will be on sale in the next big Steam sale, on the summer sale, probably for 20% off or something. And then I'd say like a year from now, you'll be getting the 50% off or more. You know.
That's 2 games that we were disappointed by that we got on release.
Yeah.
That and Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds sucked.
I had some fun with Outer Worlds, but ultimately it was just kind of a wasteland of a game. The radio in the game sucks. I like some of the songs and shit. Some of them I didn't, but I would just turn the radio off if it annoyed me. I was not overall disappointed. I just think the game had the potential to be way better than it was.
I mean, you still put in like 70 hours, so.
Probably. It's hard for me to tell because I left the game running a few times overnight, and that counts towards your playtime.
Well, that was like on Steam. Like in the game, it said 70.
Sure. So my in-game playtime was 70. 70 hours worth of Cyberpunks. And that was me doing tons of side shit and being very fastidious in quests, which I won't even bother doing next time. Like, I feel like if I just pump my fucking body stat up and ambiently find blunt weapons, I'm going to be able to trivialize 99% of the game.
You commit to games when they come out.
Yeah, I mean, like, if it's a game I really like, then I just don't play anything else. Planning to stream your Elite Dangerous play? Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Elite Dangerous is a good game to play while I'm streaming because it doesn't require my constant attention. And kind of talk and be a space trucker. Depending on what it is you're doing, too. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, waiting time in that game, I guess. Elite is an MMO. How big can Elite squads be? We can be Space Trucker Convoy. I mean, I don't know. I've never really played a lot with other people in Elite. I typically do my own thing, but I've squatted up with a couple of people at least. I know you can get at least 3 or 4 people in a squad, but I imagine like you can get probably like whole fleets and wings and shit. You barking at day. Yeah, Amelia plays games, yeah. Didn't they add a capital ship? They added a bunch of shit. Nope, not a jet. That's a train. I want a soul-driven black futuristic game called Cyberfunk. Cool. Dermaclude. Do you ever wish you could take back time that you poured into a video game? Take back time? No. I mean, if a game starts to bore me or whatever, I just stop playing it. Like with Cyberpunk, it's like I started to be bored with what I was doing in it, so I was like, I'm just going to finish it because I'm right at the end, and I did, and then now I'm done with it for a while. And if I feel like trying to play it a different way or checking out a new piece of content or whatever, I'll play it again, but I don't let myself get so sucked into a game that I won't quit it if it stops rewarding me for playing it. Crack these knuckles. Aw, yeah. Ugh. Nonsense will get you banned. I feel like with the Outer Worlds, which sucks because it's a good game. Yeah, well, we were just talking about the Outer Worlds. It's not the worst game I've ever played, but definitely like it feels like an unfinished game. Life is too short to spend time playing boring games. That's true. That's the problem with Paradox games. As soon as I'm tired of CK3, Victoria 2 calls my name until I get bored of that, and then it's just EU4 or whatever. Oh. Yeah, I don't have the time to play that many fucking games. One game at a time. for me. Yeah. I played. So I started playing Monster Hunter on the 3DS. I got Monster Hunter 3 on the 3DS, and then I got a Wii U, and so I played Monster Hunter 3U or 3 Ultimate. That was my first Monster Hunter game. I played Monster Hunter 4 on the 3DS. Didn't get super far in 4. And then played Monster Hunter 5. So I'm a big Monster Hunter dork. I like Monster Hunter a lot. Dun 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 dun. You ever go back to Morrowind? Nope, I have not. I played Monster Hunter World on my Xbox One X, but then it died, and it's hard to play on the OG X-Bone. Yeah. I have it on PC, but I stopped playing before the big expansion. I'm interested to check out Monster Hunter Unite, but I'd have to get a Wii, or not a Wii, fucking whatever the fuck, a Switch to play that. And I don't know if I want to buy a whole console just to play one game. Bethesda games do not age well. I remember you were a person who predicted Fallout 76 would suck. Well, yeah. And I mean, I really honestly think that Fallout 76 is a better game now than it was at release. I think the newest expansion in particular kind of just like retooled the game. And I played a little bit of it to check it out, and it was okay. I didn't stick with it for very long, but I think if I had had a couple of people to play with, it would have been a funner game. But I think it would have been way more funner, dude. Maximum funner with a couple of people. PS2 games, see, they all blend together for me, and it's really honestly hard for me to remember what was a PS1 game, because I had a PS1, a PS2, a PS3, a PS4. And they all start, like, to be honest with you, I've had so many PlayStations, it's hard for me to remember specifically what games were on the PS2 or 3, or was that a 1 game or a 2 game? I don't really think of it like that. Like, PS2 had Final Fantasy X. I remember that being an exclusive to the PS2. Oh, there went my fucking... The wind done blown over my parasol. Oh, no. What else was on fucking PS2 that I can specifically remember being a PS2 game? I don't know. Wasn't Grand Theft Auto 3 a PS2 game? And like Vice City and yeah, NBA Street, yeah. I liked that game until I got my ass handed to me at it. So yeah, like all of those definitely. Yeah, Final Fantasy 11 and 12 were both on the PS2, weren't they? Well, Final Fantasy 11 was like a MMO, wasn't it? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, dude, the Tony Hawk games for sure. Pro Skater 1 was on the PSX, wasn't it? And then Pro Skater 2 was on 2. And, like, dude, 2 and 3 are the ones I played the most of. No, 10 is the one with Titus. just like Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. Nope, nope, and nope. By the time I was playing the PS2, I was not like looking to find another cute little anthropomorphic anime animal to jump around in a silly adventure in. Like I'm not trying to downplay those types of games. Sometimes they're really fun, but like, yeah, I just wasn't looking for another cutesy wootsy woodland creature that gets into hijinks and bounces around a world and collects all the things. I just wasn't, you know what I mean? I feel like I got my fill of that playing Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. And I was like, well, I'm done playing this type of game, but game companies were not done giving us that type of game. Jack and Daxter, Spyro, Gex, the gecko with an attitude, Bubsy. You have to understand, dude, I was just like, I was from a fucking generation where they like just, like the crushing amount of video games were these stupid little cartoon animals. And I was done. I was just like, fuck this. I want to play something else. Just like, you guys ready for the next game? In this game, a wacky animal and his companions roam around a 3D world trying to collect all of the widgets. Make sure you explore all the areas thoroughly because there are secret widgets you can get. It's like, how many fucking times can you play that game? Bubsy 3D, dude. I don't know. I just got really played out with those types of games, so I never really spent much time playing them. No, it's cool. I understand, you know. Look, dude, I played some of them. I played fucking, like I said, I played Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. I played fucking, what the fuck was that? It's this foul-mouthed squirrel for the N64. Who is, you know, the foul-mouthed squirrel game where he fights a giant turd. I played that one. Conquer, yeah, there you go. I played some Crash Bandicoot when it came out. Of course, like I was a Genesis kid. Like I had a Sega Genesis, so I played a lot of Sonic. And it's just like I got to this point where I felt like every goddamn game was some cutesy little fucking animal running around, bopping things on the head or jumping on things, collecting stars, collecting hats, collecting widgets, collecting wrenches, collecting this, collecting that, jump platform, beat enemy, jump, bounce here, beat enemy, jump over there, beat enemy, find secret enemy, get extra thing, jump to the thing, get extra power, jump, kill enemy. I was just like, okay. Done playing it. And I never really have been able to get into a straight up platformer since that time. Like, platformers just are not all that interesting to me. All right, well, I'll check those out, Phoebe. I'm going to go ahead and end this now. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Bye.